Welcome, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Clipboard Confessional with Bobby and Anthony. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Aniano, and joining me today as he's making faces on the side of me here, as we get ready for week three already of your fantasy football season, week three of the NFL season. It's already, we're almost at the quarter point. It's crazy how quick this moves, but joining me as he always does, my good friend, Mr. Bobby Wah. Bobby, it is week three. Injuries are piling up.
Mm,
We're
mm.
reevaluating teams. But before we get to that, how are you, my friend?
I'm well. I'm well. You and I both have some road trips going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Very different types
Where are
of
you
road
going?
trips. I'm actually on Sunday. I'm headed to Charlotte to take my 7.5-year-old son and my wife to his very first NFL football game. We're going to watch the Panthers take on the Atlanta Falcons. So very excited about that.
Is he a fan of either of those teams?
No, however, we went on vacation over the summer, married, did all that stuff. And while we were on vacation, he met a little friend on the beach whose dad happens to be an NFL player who will be playing in the game. So we decided we'll go see him and hang out with the family, and the boys can maybe play at the stadium or something.
Very cool.
Yes,
That is
yes.
a very, very cool experience. You're going to be a little fanboy and follow the dad around, I'm sure. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Nice stadium in Carolina.
It's okay. It's nothing to write home about. I've only been there for a concert before, so it was nighttime. Didn't get to see, a whole lot of it. However, it was, it's fine. It's not, dude. Listen, the best and my favorite stadium I've ever been to, Camden Yards. I'm not an Orioles fan, but the Baltimore Orioles have, I would like to argue, one of the best stadiums in
Yeah.
all of sports. It is. Have you been there? It's such a
Yeah.
cool place.
Yeah. I liked Ford Field. I was in Detroit once for a Lions game.
Really?
Ford Field was nice. I thought Ford
Okay.
Field was well done. Great seat. Really tough to find a bad seat. Concourse wide open, big, open, spacious. I thought Ford Field was nice. Outside, it's right next to Tiger Stadium. It was a very interesting, like whereas where I am in New York, that doesn't happen. Everything spreads so far out. But they were right next to each other. Like you literally park the car, walk past Tiger Stadium to get to Ford Field.
Yeah, it's
So I thought that was kind of cool. But
being a Philly fan, it's very similar.
is it okay?
Yeah, all the
Oh,
stadiums are together.
gotcha. Well, let's get into it week three. And before we talk about some sleepers and players to avoid and our locks of the week, let's hit the news. And the biggest news is who's left standing at the quarterback position. Now, news came out today. Brock Purdy has a chance in week three. So that gives you a little bit of hope there for Brock Purdy. Although I'll be honest with you, 49ers at home against the Cardinals. Mac Jones, like if you lost Brock Purdy and plugged in Mac Jones, it's survivable, right? It's survivable. Did enough. Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, McCaffrey. You could survive with Mac Jones. However, Joe Burrow, who knows when we see him again, the torn ligament in his toe, the worst case of turf toe you can have. Justin Fields, news came today, he's out, concussion. Jaden Daniels, the knee. They haven't ruled him out yet, but that's tough to trust. JJ McCarthy, high ankle sprain. He's going to be out a while. My first question, I got a few things I want to run by you. First of all, if you don't have an IR spot, are you cutting Joe Burrow?
I can't. Preseason, we had him as what, QB5? When that guy is on the field,
You're not seeing him at best till mid-December. You're carrying a dead roster spot all of October, all of November, into December. No, an IR spot different, right? You put him in IR, you move on with your day.
sure.
You're carrying somebody potentially 8 to 10 weeks. You're carrying a dead roster spot.
It depends on my team. If my team is rolling along, if I have a shot at the playoffs, if I'm doing okay, yeah, I'll keep him there because I know when the playoffs roll around, then I'm going to have a top five Q quarterback. That being said, if I start stumbling, I start losing a few games I should be winning, There's a couple guys on the waiver wire. My tight end's not making it. I need to pick somebody up. Then I'm going to unfortunately have to kick him to the curb. But only if it's an absolute must. It's you got a guy like Burrow, and that's a long time to be out. But if your team, if you can tread water and you can be in the playoff hunt with him on your bench, I think it's going to pay off because all you got to do is get to the dance. If you're in the
Yeah,
dance, you got a shot. And if I'm in the dance, I surely would like to do it with Joe Burrow.
you've always said that. You've always wanted to dance with Joe Burrow. You've made that abundantly clear on numerous occasions. He's always been somebody you've wanted to dance with. Anyway,
Oh
we
my
digress.
gosh.
You walked right into that, my friend.
I
Now,
sure did.
now, Jake Browning starting for Burrow, Tyrod Taylor starting for Fields, Mac Jones maybe for Brock Purdy, but we'll push him to the side for a minute. Mariota potentially for Jaden Daniels, and Carson Wentz, former Eagle great, for J.J. McCarthy. If you're in a situation where that's the best you can add off the waiver wire, that's the best. Those four backups. We'll talk about other guys in a minute. But if the best you could do is those four direct backups, maybe it's a 2 QB format, right? And now you got to go right there. Who's your preference?
So for me, it's probably going to be Jake Browning. It
Me too.
now it depends on if it's this week or it actually probably doesn't depend. Because Browning, this isn't his first dance. He's done this before.
Went four
Burrow's
and
going
three with
out,
them last time he got a prolonged run.
and more importantly, is for what we're talking about. He averaged almost 20 fantasy points per game in those starts when he stepped in for Burrow. So that's probably going to be and honestly, this week it'll be tough. Mac Jones just dropped almost 22 points in his spot start. He'd be my second pick probably if he plays. But the Cardinals defense, man, it's a little sneaky, I think. I think they're sneaky good. So I still would rather go Browning long term and short term.
I agree. Bengals this week. And remember, the Bengals still 2-0. They go against the Carson Wentz led Vikings. Um, and I'll say this: my comp for Browning is Jameis Winston. He's going to sling it. He's going to get you some touchdowns. He's probably going to cost you throw some terrible interceptions as well. It's kind of what he did last week. But as long as you're in a league where interceptions are only worth 2 and touchdowns are worth 4 or 6, just throw more touchdowns than picks, and you're coming out on the positive side of points, right? So I agree with you. Browning is the guy I want. Now, if the normal guys are on the waiver wire, and the other day on SiriusXM, I issued a public apology to Daniel Jones. I realized it wasn't him, it was the Giants, and it was me. Daniel Jones is now suddenly the NFL MVP. Daniel Jones has become not only a must roster player, but if you've dealt with any of those injuries, let's be very real about this. You're excited you added him, and he's in your lineup this week.
I have a dilemma for you.
Oh
Let's
boy.
pretend. Let's pretend this is completely hypothetical. This doesn't affect me at all. Wink, wink. Let's say you have Jaden Daniels, who bases his production off of his legs. He
Yeah,
has a bum knee. Let's say he starts, and you just got Daniel Jones off the waiver wire.
I'm playing Jones
E-
against the Titans.
Even if Daniel starts, dude, I think I go. Or I'm sorry. Even if Daniels starts,
Mm-hmm.
I think I start Daniel over Daniels.
Minimize risk. I'm minimizing risk, and I'm playing Daniel Jones. And that's the craziest thing I think I've ever said in my life is that playing Daniel Jones is minimizing risk. Right? Like, think about that. But you're right. If Daniels doesn't run, he can't run like he usually does. Or he doesn't play, or he starts and doesn't finish. Whatever the scenario is, all of them are bad. Daniel Jones, I don't know if Daniel Jones gives you 30 points, but against Tennessee, in Tennessee, can Daniel Jones give you at least a safe 15? The way he's playing, I'd like to think he can, right?
I agree. It's
And
gonna
Daniel Jones is
feel
running just as much as Jaden Daniels right now. He's got 3
it's gonna
rushing touchdowns.
it's gonna feel so dirty to do it. But I think
Oh, filthy,
what we have
filthy,
to do,
filthy.
we
College
have
bar, slop on the floor, hose me down when I get home. Filthy.
what we have to do as fantasy managers is forget the floor he used to have in New York, because maybe that floor doesn't really exist anymore. Maybe that floor is higher than it used to be. Um, so yeah, dude, I think I am going to go Daniel over Daniels, even if Daniels starts.
Fair point. Now, other injury news around the league. Aaron Jones, Minnesota running back, IR. I mean, this is a huge Aaron arrow up for Jordan Mason, though, right? Like Jordan Mason now skyrockets into a solid RB2 category. Great matchup against the Bengals defense. I can't imagine a scenario where Jordan Mason's not in your lineup this week.
I would struggle. Who else do they have? Name another running back on the team.
Ty Chandler's hurt, and he was third.
Right.
So now you're already at fourth. So to me, it doesn't even matter. And keep in mind, with Carson Wentz at quarterback against that Bengals defense, what are you going to do? You're going to lean on a ground game that can hopefully churn out yards, right? Like it just all the stars are pointing to Jordan Mason.
Yes, I agree 100%. I'm going to cheat and tell you it's Xavier Scott. Raise your hand if you heard that guy's name
Yeah. Okay.
literally ever. I think they signed, maybe they brought back Cam Akers for the practice squad.
Yeah,
They
they did.
signed off
That's
of,
right. They brought back Cam Akers. Again, there's
right.
no impact there.
Yeah. Zero, zero.
Jordan Mason, 15 to 20 carries this week, right?
Dude, I got him at 25 touches. Not
There you go.
carries, but touches. Yeah.
There you
25.
go.
Yeah. They don't have a choice. I also would not be surprised if Wentz just gets in and starts winging that thing, just peppering Justin Jefferson with targets just because he can. And that's what
Yeah.
I would do.
Right. You got 2 to 3 games to play until McCarthy's back. Let's go have some fun. Schoolyard football.
Let it
Change every
rip.
play on the line to a play to Justin Jefferson.
Run
Just
a
change
nine,
every play.
buddy.
What are they
Just
going to do?
just
Bench him?
just hit him a nine.
Yeah. Just change every play. All right. Let's get into and now keep in mind we got Thursday night football, Dolphins at the Bills, full slate of Sunday games. Sunday night, interesting. 0-2 versus 0-2. Chiefs versus the Giants. In Russ we trust. That's the new Giants phrase, Russ.
Oh
Russ
gosh.
slinging it all over the place. Wandell Robinson, Malik Neighbors. Tough matchup for us. That's why I didn't ask you about adding him, although you may have had to add him. Tough to play him this week. That Chiefs defense is good. There's no denying that. So it's a tough matchup, although in Giant Stadium. And then a fun Monday nighter, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions against the Baltimore Ravens. But I will say this. I will tell you this, my friend. Now, you make fun of me. You texted me all day Sunday. You're Jared Goff, Jared Goff, Jared Goff, as he's throwing 5 touchdowns, right? As he's throwing 5 touchdowns, most underappreciated quarterback in the league, 5 touchdowns. You know who else I've developed a man crush on?
Oh, here is it not me?
Well, that's a given. Football related. Baker Mayfield is must-watch TV for me. If you don't love the Baker Mayfield story, go to the hospital because you're dead on the inside.
I love you're right. I love watching him. My favorite play of the whole
I mean,
game.
this is a rated R show. Guy's got the biggest balls in the league. The biggest balls in the league, dude.
He doesn't care about the situation, the scenario. It doesn't bother him. My favorite play of the whole game is when they needed a third down conversion and he ran for it and he went down and I was like, well, he tore his Achilles. He's
Yeah.
over.
And
The
then he popped
season's
up and
out
picked a fight.
and just got in Gardner Johnson's face and was talking junk. And I was like, gosh, man, I don't want to like him, but I can't help it.
I love it.
It's great.
Cleveland, Carolina, a cameo with the Rams, a prove-it contract with the Bucks to replace Tom Brady, and now he's backing up everything he did last year again this year. I just traded for him in a dynasty league, not the one we're in, a different dynasty league. I lost. It's a 2 QB format, and I only was running with Joe Burrow. My other quarterbacks were a disaster, and I was still winning. And I was able to trade for Baker Mayfield for Anthony Richardson and a 2027. Not 2026, 2027. I get hit by a bus in the next 18 months and I'll be okay. I won't even feel the impact of that. 2027 first round pick.
You got to back it up.
And then when Burrow's healthy in a 2 QB format, I got Baker and Burrow. For now,
Yeah.
I run with Baker. I go sign what's his name, the backup there with Cincinnati, Browning, and I'm fine. But
you got to back it up a little bit. Like when you talked about all the teams he was on, don't forget he went from Carolina. He got on a plane, literally, not exaggeration. He got off the plane in LA, went to the stadium, spent the night, woke up, and played for them and won the game.
Slung the ball all over the field.
Right. And when he went to Tampa Bay, he wasn't the starter. It was him battling Kyle Trask. Right.
Right.
So,
and now you look at it and go, he's one of the five most valuable players in the league. Tampa Bay can't win without him.
There's no way they win without him. None.
Exactly. None. And you love watching him play.
Yes.
And he replaced the legend and didn't flinch. It's a great story. So yes. Jared Goff is still my first true love, but Baker, oh Baker, he's my money maker. I love the guy. So there we go. There we go.
I'd love to be in I think you know this. I'm in a fantasy football league with a former NFL quarterback. I would love to be in a fantasy league with Baker Mayfield and do the live draft together. And I would bring all the PBRs and we would just have a good time.
And then he'd trash talk the shit out of you. He would completely emasculate you. It would be fantastic. I would just want to watch. All right, let's get into some position talk now. Quarterback position. We do this every week. When you look at the quarterback matchups, we know who we're playing, right? Lamar plays, Josh Allen plays. But when you dig a little deeper, there's always one or two guys who can surprise. Drake May, for example, last week, if you utilized him, he paid off. He had a rushing touchdown, 2 passing touchdowns. Give me a couple of names that may be a little bit off the radar, just a little bit, who you're interested in maybe in the right match, or if your other guy has a tougher matchup, you get in your lineup this week.
Our CD is not skipping right now. You're going to hear Drake May's name twice in a row because I'm going with him this week against Pittsburgh. That vaunted steel curtain is more like a cloth curtain you hang, from your windowsill right now. QBs have averaged over 22 points. Yeah, that's it. 22 points per game against them. Justin Fields had a great week 1, and I know May's not as athletic as Fields. He definitely uses his legs though, and he is going to comfortably finish as a QB1.
Yeah, I agree. Butte's got in the end zone. He got Ramadre involved in the passing game.
Diggs in there.
What's that?
I need Diggs. I need Diggs to get in there.
Yeah, Diggs needs to get rolling a little bit. I agree. Steelers are favored by 1.5 on the road. The total of that game is 44.5. I could see that game going over, and I could see the Patriots winning that game.
Yeah, I'm picking the Patriots in this personally. And I also have Caleb Williams.
I was going to ask, who's your second quarterback?
Yeah, I am anti Caleb Williams. However, I am pro Caleb Williams if he's playing the Dallas Cowboys. They just gave up a quarterback 2 finish to Russell Wilson. Those dudes, their secondary cannot cover receivers.
Do you know that was the most passing yards Russell Wilson has ever passed for in his career?
What baffles me is that they played well against Philly's wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Now, granted, A.J. Brown, I think his injury is probably getting 2 duds in a row from him. I think his hamstring injury is probably a little more than they're letting on. But still, Russell Wilson would have probably been even better had he been as mobile as Caleb Williams is. Wilson, mobile in his, prior years, but no longer. Yeah. The Bears have more playmakers than the Giants as well. I mean, Wilson just hit Malik Neighbors with 1,000 targets. Williams is going to have more places to look. He's going to be able to move the ball with his legs. I will happily start him this week.
Yeah, and if you drafted Rome Odunze, you're feeling pretty good about that draft pick. He's emerging.
What if you drafted DJ Moore?
You're not feeling good about it.
You're not feeling
good. Nope, not in a good place because it's happening. Odunze's taking over, and Caleb and him. Caleb looks for him, and what's he got? 3 touchdowns in the first 2 games. Odunze.
DJ Moore is one of the most fascinating fantasy players because He's been fantastic. He always should be fantastic. It just doesn't seem to work out all the time. I mean,
Yeah,
even when he has a nice season, it's because he had a 50-point game, and it's like, yeah, that's a DJ Moore we know. But then he has like six 4-point games. I don't get it.
yeah, yeah. He's being overshadowed right now by Nduze. All right, quick. Who would you rather with your two guys you picked? Drake May,
Um,
Caleb Williams. Now, not all three of them. If you have a choice between Drake May and Patrick Mahomes, who are you playing?
Dude, honestly, with this, the way this Steelers defense has looked, I think I'm going Drake May. And I
Caleb
know
Williams or
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes? Mahomes on the road in Giant Stadium or MetLife.
Oh gosh, I'm probably going Mahomes. He's showing some with his legs too. Now I think it seems to be more out of necessity. However, he can scoot a little bit himself. I worry a little bit about how much Kansas City will even need Mahomes, but it's going to be, you know what? I'm nope, not doing it. Caleb Williams. I'm going Caleb Williams over Mahomes.
Okay.
Caleb Williams is
Either of
going to have
those
something to play.
quarterbacks,
I'm
either
sorry.
of those quarterbacks over Bo Nix, who goes against the Chargers.
Why? My guy, man, my guy has not looked good. I'm taking both of them over Bo Nix
There you go.
because that Chargers defense is stifling, and they're playing great football. They were listen, they were the number one scoring defense last year, surprisingly. So I'm going, although Khalil Mack, is he out?
Yes, IR.
Hmm.
IR with the dislocated elbow will be out a couple of weeks.
I want to see how they, what they do first. But I'll be anti offensive players against the Chargers until I see what they got.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Was there a quarterback on your avoid list? Says somebody we're not rolling with no matter what this week.
Yes, and my gosh, I am so excited that you asked. This has been the highlight of my week, just to have this conversation, and it is Jared Goff, quarterback of the Detroit Lions, playing at the Baltimore Ravens. What, Bobby? Are you
No, yeah,
crazy?
first off, you're way too gleeful. Secondly, I had a feeling this could happen because I am realistic in knowing Jared Goff at home never leaves your lineup. He is a different player at home in Detroit than he is on the road. He's on the road against Baltimore. Go ahead. Go ahead. Look at you, you smug little face. If you
But
weren't 20 years younger than me, I'd smack the smile off your face. But I know that would end terribly for me.
but Bobby, he just threw 5 touchdowns.
Oh,
He was QB1, and he wants to marry him. Oh man, buddy. Week 1, he was QB 23. He didn't even score 11 fantasy points. And guess what? Week 1, he was on the road and outside because for some reason, outside is rough for him. This week, guess what? You said it, on the road, and we're outside. Do you know what his stat line was the last time he played Baltimore?
you'll tell me even if I knew.
I sure will, buddy. 284 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. Granted, 2 years ago, 2023, but this secondary is, I like it. So, Jared
Does
Goff,
it
buddy,
move the needle at all for you? Because I'll be honest, in a one QB league, I won't use Goff this week. The only places I'm using Goff is a two QB league. I'm in one. There's one QB league I have him, but my other quarterback is Justin Fields, so I really don't have a choice. But if I have another choice, I can easily pivot out of him. But before we started, I looked at the lines, and this is the only reason I'm questioning it. That's the highest total of the week.
mhm.
Vegas has that at 52 and a half. The only other total that's hitting 50 this week, and I want to be sure for accuracy, there's actually two. Tomorrow night, Miami and Buffalo is at 50, and the Cowboys and Bears are at 50 and a half. But that's at 50 and a half because neither team can play defense. Detroit and Baltimore is at 52 and a half because of those offenses. Does that number, in general terms, does the fact that it's the highest total on the board move you at all on not just Goff, but on any player?
It's not going to move me. Actually, I don't mind Amon Ra this week because he's going to have to be the guy. Him and Gibbs are going to have to be the guy to move the ball against the Ravens D. And um, you know, since we're here, I might as well go ahead and give you another player to avoid. And for me, it's Jameson Williams. He gave you an absolute dud in week one,
Mhm.
and week solid performance in week two, but he only had two catches. And I understand that's his game. He was two catches for like 101 yards and a touchdown. Like that's what he does. But if I'm Baltimore, I'm going to keep everything in front of me, right? Because Detroit's going to want to run the ball, and Amon Ra is going to run those short passing routes. I need to keep everything in front of me, right? I don't want anything behind me. And look, you have a player like Jameson Williams. That's his thing. He can certainly sneak behind a defense, and he only needs really one play, to make your day. But with the safeties that Baltimore runs out there, I'm not going to bet on Jameson finding that finding that seam, finding that space behind the D. I do like Amon Ra. I mean, this feels like a 10 catch. I mean, it might be 10 catches for 85 yards and a score.
Mhm.
It's not going to be a big yardage game, but he'll get a lot of touches. He'll get a lot of catches. So I don't mind Amon Ra here. I'm steering clear of Goff. I'm steering clear of Jamison Williams. And those running backs,
You got to
you,
play Gibbs.
you
Gibbs.
I mean, hey, right. Montgomery, he's always game for a touchdown, but I don't know what he would do outside of that.
Fair enough. Let's stay with the wide receiver position then, though, because you said you're a void, right, Jameson Williams. Who are your surprising plays this week at the wide receiver position?
Well, if I would have told you before this season started that at week two, Terry McLaurin would be wide receiver 63 with 11 points, you'd have called me crazy. Now, I know personally I was lower on Terry McLaurin than most. I wasn't wide receiver 63 low. Um, Now, if Jane Daniels plays, you got to play Terry McLaurin. I get it. However, um, he is if Mariota rolls out there, he's going to have to look for someone. Probably going to be McLaurin. And the Raiders defense, they've given up the fourth most points to wide receivers. That's a plus. The oh he, we knew he was going to take a few weeks to get rolling because he
Yeah.
skipped all of camp.
Mhm.
Well, it's been a couple weeks. So I am thinking this week McLaurin has a bounce back as long as Daniels is playing.
If Mariota's on the
Again,
side, you sit McLaurin though, or you got to
I
still
don't
go.
think I don't
I,
think I mean, who are you starting? Problem is McLaurin is either your wide receiver one or wide receiver two.
it's tough to
So
match.
unless you ended up with a Buka late in the draft and you have someone
Who
to
did
start over,
it? Ibuka did not practice today. He got
well,
banged.
you're right. So if you did, then that you're definitely playing McLaurin if you drafted a Buka.
Mindful of
Um,
that, Ibuka.
yeah, I do think if I have McLaurin and Mariota is starting, I am playing McLaurin.
Okay.
He's got a couple weeks. We're in better game shape. I know Debo's going to be a nice outlet there, but this is Terry McLaurin. He has done it every year, and he's a sure bet for 1,000 yards. Slow start. You're going to be okay. Play Terry McLaurin.
All right. You got anybody else for me? Who else?
I do.
Who else? Who is another wide receiver that you like? And then I want to run through a couple of what ifs with you. But let me know who's your other wide receiver that you get in lineups.
Week one rolls out there. Michael Pittman gets you 17 points. Love it. Dropped to 6 points
Take that.
last week. Kind of saw it coming. That Denver defense, Patrick
Yes.
Surtain out there, kind of saw it coming. The Titans defense, though, they've been bad overall, but they've been even worse against the wide receivers. I don't know if you know about this nickname for Daniel Jones, but apparently Vanilla Vic is
Oh
a
yeah.
nickname.
Oh, I've heard it. Danny Dimes, Vanilla Vic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
for the Giants, that's what they called him.
Well, Vanilla Vic has 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. That's not going to happen every game. Um, Pittman is definitely the wide receiver one for this team as well. So I imagine they're going to be throwing the ball a little bit more, and I would love to see Pittman in the end zone. I think he's got a solid week this week against Tennessee.
Fair enough. Now, a couple of injury things real quick at wide receiver. Well, one big one. Looks like Xavier Worthy's going to play, trending towards playing with his arm in a harness. We talked about it last week. We didn't have to worry about it because he did not play. And remember now, that's Sunday night as well. So it's a late decision you got to make. Me personally, zero chance I put Xavier Worthy in my lineup this week. What do you think? You agree?
I agree. I mean, zero stuff, but probably zero. I'd much rather have Hollywood.
Quentin Johnston, 3 touchdowns on the year now. Is he emerging as you got to play him? Because last week we were like, we don't want to chase last week's points, but he did it again.
I know. It obviously depends on your lineup, but my gosh, you got to feel good about having him as your flex. I don't
Yeah.
want him as one wide receiver too, but if I got him, I mean, good grief. I don't know how you sit him.
Yeah, got to play him until he gives you that zero. And eventually the zero will come. You just hope he gives you the zero when you don't have him in your lineup. All right. Couple of quick things at the running back position. We already talked about Jordan Mason. Cleveland Browns, Quinshon Judkins. He is officially the RB1 on the depth chart. Dylan Sampson is number 2, and Jerome Ford is now number 3. Sounds to me like it's wheels up for Quinshon Judkins. He's practiced 6 times. Now, that being said, they are at home against what you could easily make a case right now is the best team in the league and the Green Bay Packers. Is Judkins, are we comfortable enough now? After one game, I think he got, 10 carries? Are we comfortable enough with Judkins that he's in our lineup, essentially RB2 must-start type of situation? Or is the matchup too bad?
I am not comfortable with it. Number one, you mentioned it, 10 carries. We got a crowded backfield. Number two, number three, dude, that Green Bay defense, man, my gosh, is it good? This Packers team has, I know we're super early in the season, but they have emerged as quite the team to beat. For me, if I need a spot in my flex, I'd like to put Judkins. I wouldn't mind it there. But the Browns are going to be playing from behind. Is Judkins going to be the third down back, or is it going to be Dylan Sampson again? I would prefer Judkins no higher than flex if my team can provide that for me.
And I can't play Sampson either. Sampson was about to give you a bust. And in the last, 2 minutes of the game, he got a garbage time touchdown pass, gave him 10 fantasy points. You can't play Sampson. Now, I'm not dropping Sampson because I still think maybe a potential suspension comes Judkins' way this year. And if it does, Sampson's now an RB1. However, if he's even less involved in this upcoming week, you can make a case for dropping him. Now, again, before we get to your list, I do have another question for you.
Sure.
Rookie running back, sticking with the rookies. Ashton Genty's disappointed. Omari and Hampton split 50-50 carries with Najee Harris. Travion Henderson played a secondary role. Ramondre Stevenson had a significantly better game last week. Those are just 3 off the top of my head. Caleb Johnson, he's a drop. He's not involved at all in Pittsburgh. And Jaylen Warren is making him irrelevant. Jaylen Warren's playing solid football right now for the Steelers. RJ Harvey in Denver, no impact really there. There's nothing really moving the needle. J.K. Dobbins had a touchdown last week. So those 2 are out. But that being said, Ashton Genty was a first or second round pick. Omari, he was drafted as an RB1. Omari and Hampton was drafted as an RB2. Travion Henderson was drafted as an RB2. And everybody, except for Genty, because there was nobody else, everybody just pretended Najee Harris didn't exist. Everybody pretended Ramondre Stevenson did not exist. Well, you know who remembered they existed? Their head coaches. They knew they were there. So what are we doing before we get to your list in general terms? And I don't think we can bench Genty. I just don't. I think he continues to play. Raiders against Washington. Tough to sit him out. He's your first running back you drafted, most likely. But what about Hampton splitting with Harris and Henderson splitting with Stevenson? If you have enough depth, don't you have to bench him and just hope that the week you bench him isn't their coming out party?
Do you remember our very first episode together a couple months ago? Do you remember what it was on?
There's a monumental experience in my life. It's birth of my child, day I got my first show with Bob.
Oh,
My
rookie running backs.
when I take my last breath and I see my life flash in front of me, those are the three things I'm going to say. Those are
Rookie, rookie. First off, I appreciate it. That's incredible. Rookie running backs, and I ended up being the grumpy old man. And I know it's week 2, but good grief, I told you so. My oh my. Um, it's funny that you mentioned this because we've been talking and just late last night. Well, late for us because we're dads and things, but it was about 9:30. I posted our waiver wire video. And you don't know this yet because you're going to listen tomorrow on your little road trip. But my waiver wire ad for running backs was Mr. Najee Harris because he's only was only 37% owned. My guy got 10 carries, which is whatever. And you're probably not going to play him. However, Hampton, the quote lead back, um, that guy goes down, and Najee Harris is all of a sudden a top 15 running back in that offense with that coaching staff. Um, Also, I got Ramondre Stevenson everywhere, and I don't know what to do with him. He's been on my bench. I think I have to start him. I got him or Chris Olave. I
thoughts.
gotta
Regretted it. Benched him week 2. Regretted it.
right, right. So, yes,
His
these rookie
value
running backs,
coming like round 8, 9, or 10.
I know, and I'm going to be starting him over guys I got in round 5 and 6. I mean, what if you went out and got Travion Henderson? I mean, would this be a kick in the, you know what? If you drafted Travion Henderson in the 4th or 5th round and got Ramondre Stevenson in the 9th round, and all of a sudden you got to start Ramondre Stevenson over Travion Henderson, which I think right now is probably the right call. I mean, I
Yeah.
know they're going against Pittsburgh, and both running backs could actually succeed this week. But for me, like you said, if you have the depth on your bench where you can sit these rookie running backs that aren't producing for someone who actually is, even if you don't like their name, take the name off the jersey. If they're getting you points, get them in your lineup.
Yeah. A couple of other running back news to notes. Tyrone Tracy appeared on the injury report, and he's already losing touches to Cam Scatterbo, like I thought would happen. I think we talked about that as well. He got in the end zone last week, Scatterbo, and don't expect Scatterbo to get more work than Tracy, even if Tracy is good to go. So be mindful of that as well. Scatterbo may end up being more effective than the other rookie running backs, at least in terms of workload. He doesn't have the competition that a Hampton or a Henderson have. Tyrone Tracy doesn't hold up to the other guys. So that could be interesting as well. But let's get into the list now. We do it for every position. Let's do it for the running back. Let's start with the players, the sneaky plays who you want to get in your lineup this week.
Yeah, we already mentioned Jordan Mason. I probably don't need to get into him. Like I said, I think he's going to push 25 touches this game. I just don't know what else Minnesota is going to do. Another one for me, and this is probably a surprise. And like you said, we don't want to pick these guys that are definitely going to be in your starting lineup. However, Isaiah Pacheco against, I know, your
Yeah.
Giants. Dude, listen, just listen. My guy has been dead. He's already 51 after 2 weeks, which is whatever, but he has 7.2 total points. However, the Chiefs are 0-2, and I'm not sure they have led for a single minute in any game they played. I don't think they've held the lead. That should not be the case this week. I anticipate Isaiah Pacheco to milk the clock second half. They should be playing with the lead. He'll be able to get those carries. And look, Andy Reid has his guys. Good coaches have their guys. Unless your name's Bill Belichick, he obviously didn't care who was on his team. But he likes Pacheco, right? So he's gonna try to get Pacheco some touches here, get him in the positive. I really struggle to think he doesn't give you double digits this week, which isn't a lot, but it compared to what he's been doing, yes, and I think he is a fine flex.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire. Who would
Yeah.
you rather? Isaiah Pacheco or Bill Jacory Krosky Merritt, the RB1 for Washington
Um, dude, I this
against the Raiders
week,
this week.
yeah. Hmm. I think it's going to be Pacheco. Oh gosh, I think it's Pacheco for me this particular week. We also don't know what McNichols' workload looks like. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but he
Krosky
is the vet.
is RB1.
McNichols is the veteran. He's played in this offense for, and he's filled in when he had to. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay. Another one.
I'm going Pacheco.
Checo or Nick Chubb with the Texans against the Jaguars.
I don't I don't like these hard questions.
That's why I'm
Um,
here.
I know. I'll probably go Chubb there.
I
He
actually
did not.
loved his touchdown run last week. Did you see
Yeah,
it? He was
that's it.
plodding along. And then that touchdown run, I perked up. I'm like, ooh, he's still got a little giddy up than I thought he had, right?
So that is 100% why I picked Chubb, simply from the eye test. Because he hasn't looked good. Pacheco hasn't looked good, but he had a little something in there on Monday night, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay. One more.
Yeah.
I would definitely play ATN over Pacheco. What
Right.
about Tootin though, who
Nah,
had a nice game backup role?
nah, that's okay.
No,
I'm not going a team's RB2 over a team's RB1 that should be leading most, if not all, of a game.
Cam Scatterbo or Pacheco if Tyrone Tracy plays. If Tyrone Tracy is out.
If Tyrone Tracy is out, I'll probably go Scattaboo because of
Nope.
his receiving chops. And he's going to, like, they're going to be playing from behind. So he's going to get, especially if Tracy sits, he's going to get all the carries. He's going to play the third downs. He's going to get the catches. I'll go your boy.
All right. Real quick, give me a running back to avoid.
Okay. Well, this guy has been averaging 14 and a half fantasy points per week, but he has not played the Chargers defense, and that is J.K. Dobbins. This same defense kept the guy we just talked to, Isaiah Pacheco, to 25 yards rushing and fifth overall draft pick, Ashton Genty, to 43. The Chargers are the best team in the AFC West. Denver's probably going to be playing behind. I don't know what that looks like for Dobbins. Is he going to get the pass game work? I'm not sure. If I can bench Dobbins, I would.
Fair enough. Let's pivot to the tight end position.
Yeah.
Any and tight end position's been beat up by injury too, right? Kittle, Goddard was out. Definitely been beat up a little bit at that position. Guys like Zach Ertz have stepped up and put up big points for you. Who is a surprise tight end for this week? Do we dip our toe back? Because we talked about it last week. Zach Ertz was my ad for Kittle, and boom, 18 PPR fantasy points. Are we dipping our toe back in the Zach Ertz pool once again this week against the Raiders?
I would. I certainly would. And it's so funny because when I saw Zach Ertz score that touchdown, I immediately thought of you and thought, that son of a gun. Ertz, and you said it's going to be so boring, 9 or 10 points, and he gets more than that in one play. And honestly, even if we're going to do that whole Terry McLaurin thing, where even if Marcus Mariota sits, he's going to have two targets here, and they're going to scheme Debo targets and touches and all that stuff. But McLaurin's going to be his guy. Zach Ertz is going to be his guy. He's played with Zach Ertz before. He's played with McLaurin before. He knows those guys. He knows where they're going to be. But also, I don't know why we keep have to saying this. I don't know why we keep having to say this guy's name, but Jawan Johnson, man,
Two
what
good
does this
regional.
guy have to do?
Yeah.
We talked about him last week. He was on everyone's waiver wire list, and it worked. He scored 11 in point 6 points, I think, week one, and then he drops 13 week
Yeah.
two, and he was still only owned in 45% of leagues.
If you're
Uh,
getting 10 points from a tight end, that should be good enough to win your game.
he's tight end three. And listen, get it. It's been 2 weeks. He is Spentler Rattler's guy. And Spentler Rattler is the quarterback. Start Juwan Johnson. I'm I got him. I mean, I almost started him this past week over Brock Bowers, and now I wish I would have.
Yeah. What about an avoid at the tight end position? Anybody was shying away from? Anybody who's disappointed? A matchup you don't like?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you
A
going
guy.
Howard? Howard's your guy to avoid because that he's still not 100%.
You can't. There's no way you can avoid Brock Bowers. I mean, you have to play him simply because of the draft capital and who he could be any given week. But mine is Mark Andrews, man. This is like a mirror image of last year. He's done nothing so far. But at least last year, Isaiah Likely was in the lineup. But that dude's not even playing, and Mark Andrews still isn't doing anything. He's got what, like, I think Andrews has less than 2 points in half point PPR in 2 games. And the Detroit Lions, they've given up a total of 8 points to the tight end position as a whole. So I gotta, as much as I love the guy and thought he would do well this year, I gotta steer clear of Andrews at least for this week.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of games now.
Yeah.
My lock of the week. The game I am locking in, probably my guillotine pool league. They're 2-0. They're going against 0-2. They're favored by 6.5 at home. And the Jets don't have a quarterback. It's Tyrod Taylor. Give me the Tampa Bay Bucks and my new man crush, Baker Mayfield, to go 3-0, my lock of the week. What about you?
Yeah, I like it. I feel bad for the Jets, man. If Fields plays, do you make it your lock?
Probably not. There's
Right.
other games that would have
Yeah.
locked in on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine's a
but
fun one.
with Tyrod Taylor, I'm not as concerned.
Mine's a fun one.
What's your
We talked about this game. Very high scoring, and I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens over your Jared Goff led Detroit Lions. Baltimore's a 6 point favorite, so it's pretty good. But their defense is far better than the Chicago defense the Lions just faced. There's no way your boy Goff is throwing for 5 touchdowns outside on the road. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a fine day.
full disclosure?
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon, as we're watching Jared Goff throw touchdown after touchdown, our good friend Bobby was texting me curse bombs left and right. Like, let's acknowledge the smugness we're seeing now was the
No, no,
biggest
no.
humble pie everybody's ever had to eat last Sunday. Acknowledge it.
Okay, we need to back this train up, buddy, because the reason I was upset is because I was actually on your team. I am in Jeff Mann's. He's on SiriusXM Fantasy, got a podcast, all this stuff. He has a one and done league, and me and my buddy of mine, I was like, you know what, let's get in this league and let's manage it together. And you can start any player you want any week. I love this format. It's one of my favorites. But once you play him, you can't play him again for the whole season. And what our agreement was that I create a lineup and then he gets to pick a couple guys and move them out, whatever, and it's all good. And I had Goff and Amon Ra in the lineup. And he comes in and he's like, you know what? I don't know about that. Let's go Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. And I was like, you know what? Those are your picks. Cool. And
Yeah,
then and then gosh, Goff and Amon Ra absolutely blew up. And I was very,
I've
very
got
upset.
Ross St. Brown as the rock in almost any DFS I played. It's simple. If they're home, you play them. But anyway, so you're going Ravens, your lock of the week.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's dangerous, but I love it.
All right. Who is your upset of the week?
Don't want to do it. I don't want to do this. Let's skip
Rams,
it. All right.
Eagles. All
Thanks.
right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you later. Bye.
Rams over
Yes.
the.
It is, man. They're 3.5 point road dogs right now. The Rams are basically just half a point, right? Because we get a field goal for being at home. I know they're traveling across the country, but if we remember the playoffs last year, the Rams had an opportunity to win that game. And Philly's cornerback two situation is disgusting. And the Rams have fantastic wide receivers. They're not rolling out with a wide receiver one and a nobody. They got Puka Nakua, they got Devonta Adams. So if I'm Matt Stafford, as soon as I get up that line, I look, all right, who's Dory Jackson covering? Oh, there he is. That's where I'm going. So this one scares me, man, and I don't want to say it out loud, but I did, and I'm sad.
I got to kind of agree with you there. That's
Ah,
probably.
boo.
Here's the thing. The passing game of the Eagles has been kind of non-existent.
Mhm.
It's tush push and Saquon Barkley. That's what making that team go. AJ Brown's been a disappointment. You can't take him out. If anybody ever asked me, Anthony, besides the Bucks and the Jets, I think the other obvious one, and I hate to bet it because they're a road team, but the Packers over the Browns, right? Like that to me is that's as big a lock. It's just a little sketchier because I always try to avoid picking the road team there. We all picking the Rams over the Eagles. Both teams 2-0. Eagles 3.5 total on that one. 44.5. And Kyron Williams, Puka, Devontae. As long as the Rams can keep Stafford on their feet, they could pick them apart. It'll be a fun game Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, I don't have to like it, but look, there it is.
There it is. All right, everybody. As always, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe right here to the Clipboard Confessional YouTube channel. You got Bobby's waiver wire videos. You got our weekly prediction show. It's great stuff. We appreciate all the support. Tell your friends about it. Like and subscribe. Hit us up on X. I'm not on it much, but when I am, I'll answer your questions. I've taken Bobby's advice and staying off of that toilet bowl of the social media, but that's just me. What do I know? Bob, this was fun as always, and we'll do it again next week, right?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for listening. Anthony, you're the man.
Have fun, everybody. Enjoy the games.
See ya.